so I better wait. Today, this Sunday, after Thanksgiving, we bring our theme of praising the plenty to a close. We've been talking about that all month. And how many of you have experienced plenty and God's bounty on Thursday? Maybe not everyone, but maybe we have. Plenty of good food, oh yeah. Plenty of love, plenty of friends and family. And I'll just say this little caveat. Family that actually got along. Whoa! What a blessing. This is it's been a good year. Okay, so how many have you spent Thanksgiving with your parents? Maybe not too many, but quite a few. Okay. Did any of them ever use this trick to try to get you over on a holiday? Day before Thanksgiving, an elderly man in Phoenix calls his son in New York to say, I hate to ruin your holiday, son, but I have to tell you something. Your mother and I are divorcing. 45 years of misery is enough. Dad, what are you talking about? The son screams. I'm telling you that we can't stand the sight of each other any longer. The old man replies, we're sick of each other, and frankly, I'm sick of talking about this, so call your sister in Chicago and tell her, and he hangs up abruptly. Frantic, the son calls his sister in Chicago, who explodes on the phone. Like heck, they're getting divorced, she shouts. I'll take care of this. She immediately calls home and screams at her father. You and Mom are not getting a divorce. Do not do a single thing. I'm calling my brother back and we will both be there tomorrow. Until then, don't do a thing. Do you hear me? And she hangs up the phone. The old man hangs up his phone, turns to his wife and says, okay, honey, we've taken care of Thanksgiving. Now they're both coming and they're paying their own ways. How do we get them to come for Christmas? All right, enough of that. Margaret telling a joke. Today, our final Praising the Plenty talk is entitled, There is Plenty. And to round out our month, we're going to do some creative work together. I'm going to show you what I mean, and I'll do it in the context of a brief review of the 3 weeks leading up to this final month, this final Sunday. In the first talk in the series, we looked at the idea of radical self-care. That's what we did. As a spiritual practice, though. As a spiritual practice, how important it is to take care of ourselves as living, breathing temples of the divine. To care for our physical, spiritual, emotional, and mental selves. It's a spiritual practice to do this. I shared that I did some things to take care of my body, also my mind. I shared about how I increased my time in meditation and reading Living the Science of Mind book, some great gems in there to start the day off. And there's one where Ernest Holmes talks about changing our language from I am one with God, which by the way I think is fine, I am one with God, but changing it, tweaking it slightly to I am of God. I am of God. I started to play with that phrase, I am of God, in my mind, and it took me to, well, if I am of God, then I must live as God. And if I live as God, then I must be God's health and wealth, love and light, peace and plenty, creativity and caring, infinite intelligence. I must be all of these things, beauty and bounty and infinite. I must be infinite. And wow, if I live as God, then plenty must open up to me. It must open up to me. That's God's natural way of being. This divine energy is plenty and openness and overflowing. All this good is overflowing in and around and through me because I am of it. I'm sure we all remember that. That was one. But it's a good reminder if you weren't here or if you've forgotten it. And here's our creative endeavor. What could be an acronym for PLENTY for the notion of spiritual self-care? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each week's, it's not a theme, but it's the talk of that week, and put it into an acronym so we have 4 different weeks, and we'll work together on that last one. So for that one, self-care, how about this? Now you got to get the acronym in here. Peaceful lounging while enjoying nesting, because you've got to work with PLENTY, combined with twinkling youthfulness. Why not? Jesus said, become as little children, so we have to remember that. But why not be twinkling youthfulness? I like that. And it's got the T and the Y in it. Second Sunday. On the second Sunday, we spoke of calling forth an abundant harvest through the power of blessing. And you might remember that. So, invoking God's favor upon, this is a blessing, the definition of a blessing, making or pronouncing something holy or bestowing good of any kind. That's what a blessing is. Glorifying, protecting. It was such an amazing experience to pour forth our blessings on an abundant harvest on our ideas. On our ideas, our dreams, our visions. We don't think like that. It's a nice little shift. Abundant harvest of our desires and dreams and ideas. Beautiful. That was a great talk. How about this for the PLENTY acronym for our blessings for an abundant harvest Sunday? Pouring life energy and newness throughout the yield. Yield, harvest. And then third Sunday, that was last Sunday, we magnetized our good by embracing the present moment. That was a really good talk last week. I love last week's talk, was great. And doing the right thing in the moment, and what that right thing really is to us. So embracing the present acronym. I am present for love, enoughness, niceties, and triumphant year. PLENTY. So that summarizes where we might have been with the acronyms using plenty. Where would you go with that? Where would you like to go with that? Where would you like to go with that for meaning in this moment now, moving forward? What acronym might you create for living in the idea that really is plenty? And it need not summarize where we've been, but where we are going to. We plant the seeds in the now moment. That is how we manifest what we truly want in life. That and the many things go into it. But for right now, we're going to do something that's going to help us solidify that. You're going to get a chance right now to create your own acronym using plenty. And just because there aren't that many words that begin with Y, I looked up in the dictionary Y, I got that page out, and here's just a few, if you want to jot any down. Yahoo, Yahweh, Hebrew for God. Year-end, year-round, yes. Yield, yin, yang, your, you know, you get the idea. Yummy, yummy's a good one. Why not? Okay, so what we're going to do is the ushers are going to pass out the, we should have 2 ushers, passing out the papers, and if you need a pen, just raise your hand. Oh yeah, they're not passing out the papers, they're already in the bulletin. That's it. They're going to collect them later. But, so you have in your bulletin a piece of paper that has the acronym PLENTY on it, right? And if you're at home, you can get a piece of paper and a pen, and you can participate with us. So, I want us to really sit down and think about what word or thought goes with each of those letters. The P, the L. Everyone got a piece of paper and a pen? No. Good. Okay, hands up if you don't. Okay. And while we do this, we have Sharon, who is going to just play a little music, but do it pretty quick. You can always finish it at home. Give you a really couple of seconds, and then the ushers are going to come around. So our usher will come around, and I want you to just to place your acronym in the basket. If you're not finished, that's fine, or you can keep it, but we'd like to have a few. Because we're planting the seeds for our next period, or day, or moments of plenty. Because there's plenty of everything when we open our consciousness, minds, souls, and beings to it. Okay, that's fine, Kathleen. Just going to read a few of what an acronym could mean to someone else, and if it jumps out at you, then use it. So we have peaceful, life, energy, new, throughout year. Oh, that's a good one. Peaceful life, energy, new throughout year. That's a great one. And then we have, I'm going to have to read them. I can't read the first one. But the second one is light, earnest, now, to, yield a great life. So good. P, please, love, eternally, now, through you. See how this is? This is great. These are great. You can do this at home too, and redo any of these words that jump out at you. We'll do one more. Peaceful, loving, energy, niceties throughout year. And we have, like, everyone put such great ones in here. We'll read one more. This one's a good one. Peace, love, eternally, now, through you. So good. This is how we create our next plenty moment, which it's infinite. It's absolutely infinite. So, I want to end with a final acronym for experiencing great and even greater plenty in our lives. It is pray, love, energize your good, nurture your soul, tell the truth to yourself, and say yes to life itself. Say yes to life itself. I'm going to ask you to repeat this after me. My life is filled with plenty.
My life is filled with plenty.
My heart is filled with gratitude.
My heart is filled with gratitude.
The more praise the plenty,
The more praise the plenty,
the more plenty there is to praise.
the more plenty there is praise.
And I'm feeling like I want to end this wind-up talk today with an affirmative prayer to seal it in. Just to seal it in, because the Lord is always responding to our every thought, our every emotion, every aspect of who we are. We're all energy beings. And so let's just take that breath together and just all those beautiful words for P-L-E-N-T-Y into our lives. And so we know there is a power for good that is forever operating through each and every one of us. We are of God. Therefore, we are heirs to the kingdom of good. And this is truth. This is absolute truth spoken here. For the infinite energy of the divine is always creating out of that loving, perfect nature, and it creates life. And it creates life in every single form that could ever be. Forms we see, forms we don't see. It is life itself expressing as this glorious energy that we call God. And so each and every one of us are blueprints for this energy to function through, unique unto ourselves, unique. For there are not two of us, there is one of us individualized. How beautiful and perfect is this? So therefore I declare that as we move forward from this moment, expressing ourselves as beings of God, that we experience good and more good in its every form, whether it be health, whether it be wealth, whether it be relationships, careers, living happily, however it is to you, that is not only a possibility, but an absolute truth that is waiting to move through you. So opening our consciousness, opening our minds, our souls, our very being, the essence of who we are to this good, to this plenty of good, we manifest in our lives the truth of who we are, the truth of who we really are. And we are children of God, and that is truth spoken. And I am so grateful to speak that truth. I am so grateful to know that truth with all of my heart, with all of my soul, with all of my being, to know that I and everyone else, all of creation, is of God. How could I not be grateful? How could I not be grateful? And each and every one is absolutely part of that oneness, that unity, that unified field of infinite good. And so we open ourselves to allow it to flow through us and give thanks, give thanks, give thanks. And in that gratitude then, I release this word into that intelligent law of universal mind, where this word is made manifest in each and every one of our lives. And we just rest in the knowing that we are cared for. We are cared for always, in all ways. And so it is.